from the first slide so that we can get a recap of what we were discussing last week. Next, the genetic center, life force, Panchabhuta, Sabdatadus, and Panchagoshas are all spinning systems, each spin individually and collectively also. Next, the spinning system of the life force and the genetic center. Both are having the same central axial point, and the strength of the genetic center depends on the strength of the life force. And similarly, both are directly proportional. Both, the relationship is simple. If the genetic center is strong, life force will be strong, vice versa. And can anyone say how a strong genetic center will help, will present a strong life force? Anyone?
Because the intensity of the spinning system will be the infinity state at the center of the genetic.
That is,
so the
genetic center decides the strength of the genetic center. If the genetic center contains more of a sexual vital fluid of the individual, then it is stronger. By that I mean the attractive force of the spinning system of the genetic center will be stronger, and it attracts more life force particles within the system. That is, more number of life force particles are present in the life force, so it is stronger. So both are directly proportional, and the strength, one strengthens the other. The spinning system of genetic center and life force have a common central point. That is, they have the same axial point for both. And the field of the spinning system of the genetic center, the expanded portion is covers the whole of the spinning system, and the concentrated central portion becomes the genetic center. And the field of the genetic center, which covers almost the entire body, is having the same 4 zones: beta, alpha, theta, delta, with the respective frequencies ranging from 0 to 40. This helps in the functioning of the body, the mind. The mind, if it is functioning in beta and alpha, he is an emotional individual. And if it is functioning in theta, he is a scientist. If it is functioning in delta, he is a spiritualist, he is a yogi. The impact of the field of the genetic center on the life force, on its velocity, spinning, and wave length. So in this way, the spinning system of life force and genetic center complements to each other and refines the functions of each and each system. So, any questions in this?
This
Yes.
is sorry. I have a question on so can you please explain how the life force strengthens the genetic center? Sorry, I didn't get that.
That is, if the number of life force particles spinning in the life force system, it is stronger. When the number of life force particles, that is, life force particle is a galaxy of the energy particles or Levine dust particles. So it gives the strength to the genetic center. That is, all the three systems, genetic center, the causal body, genetic center in the life force particles in the astral body, and the causal body and the physical body. All you add strength to the genetic center as such. If the number of life force particles in the life force are weak, then the attractive force is weak, the centripetal and the centrifugal forces. So it becomes weak. More the number, the merrier. And it becomes a stronger, more energy is available. In that way, it gives genetic center. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Bharat Shah?
No, Aya, no questions, Aya.
Right. Okay. Ananda, shall we proceed?
Yes, ஐயா வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். See this zones of the genetic center corresponds to the causal body, the wave system of the brain waves ranging from beta to delta is manifested in the genetic center also, and this distributes the imprints according to their wavelength, and their activities are confined to that. And when the vector force is in a particular band, namely beta, alpha, theta, delta, the imprints picked up and imprints which come into consciousness depends on that and the behavior of the individual. Because of the imprints which are selected is the performance of the individual. It depends on the four zones and their operational state. May have delta, but the vector point, the point from which the emergent waves, the biomagnetic wave that comes out of the genetic center may not come from that fraction of delta. So he may be far from being spiritual, when he is not touching that at all? Is it okay?
Yes, Ayya.
So the impact of the field of genetic center on the life force, on its velocity spinning wavelength. So if the genetic center is stronger, the velocity of the spinning system will be good. The spinning speed, revolutions will be more, and the wavelength will be good. So this integrates all the three spinning systems of the genetic center, namely the physical body, astral body, and the cosmic body. Okay, next slide, please. Now, the spinning system of the Panchabhutas and the Saptatadus. In the physical body, you have these two spinning systems. It is according to this spinning system, the entire body is spinning, is revolving on its axis. And this may be, I realized that only when we started exploring the genetic center along with the physical body. The way in which the Saptatadus are arranged in the body shows that they are in spinning system. Because of which the Tadus are arranged in orbital fashion. The juice on the top, blood next, muscle next, fat, bone, marrow, and the sexual vital fluid. This arrangement is essential to pool all the surplus sexual vital fluid to the center of the genetic center. So where the concentration is more, the impact is also more. That is, in a newborn child, the sexual vital fluid is not there in the genetic center at all, because it is spent, it is present throughout the body. It is just like absolute space. It is present, thoroughly permeable, and it is almost fills the entire body. And it is required for the functions of the cell and the other tissues. So they are responsible for the growth, that is cell division to take place. The vital fluid is utilized, and in a short span of say 0 to 7, 8 years, the weight is enormously increasing disproportionately with the time interval. That is from 3 kilos to 30 kilos, 10 times the growth is there. And this consumes a lot of vital fluid. And so the vital fluid is not present in appreciable amounts in the center of the genetic center. And when the growing individual reaches a plateau, that is the steep rise of the growth, body, physical body growth, just becomes flat after some time in the adolescence, at which time the production of the SVF is more than the utilization in the body. So the body growth comes down and the sexual vital fluid becomes surplus, and the surplus vital fluid is accumulated in the genetic center, and where higher voltage develops, and this is essential required for activation of the gonads, namely the ovary and the testis. So the sexual maturity takes place after a lag of time from birth. At the time of birth, the testicles are there, the ovaries are there, but they are not functional. They lie dormant. And only at time of maturity, when sufficient voltage of sufficient quantity of sexual vital fluid accumulates in the center, that generates a higher activity. Then the impact of the higher concentration of sexual vital fluid is required for the activation of the gonads, the testis and ovary. So with that, the sexual maturity starts. So that is the importance of sexual vital fluid in the genetic center. If it is not there, you get all the problems associated with the sexual functions. The maturity is not there. You have irregular periods and you have irregular menstrual function, and sterility is more prevalent with lower concentrations of SPF in the genetic center. I have introduced a new concept of Panchakoshas in connection with the genetic center. That is,
Yes, sir. Even I was thinking to ask that. Yeah, please proceed. Sorry.
Yes. See, the Panchakosha, the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya koshas, they are also spinning, and they are closely related to the magnetic field of the causal body spinning system. And in the Annamaya Kosha, it is the physical body that is represented with the organs of the body and the tadus, this thing. The next to it is the Pranamaya Kosha, where the life force particles and the life force constitutes the Pranamaya Kosha. And still inner, it is the Manomaya Kosha. The voltage, the concentration of the biomagnetic wave is not reaching up to the periphery. And when it is confined to the region inner to the Pranamaya and Annamaya, it fails to have contact with the sense organs, which makes it only Manomaya Kosha. That is, if it is in contact with the sense organs, then it will be able to experience the outside environment. When it is not in contact with the sense organs, they are not functioning, and only the mind functions. The already acquired imprints that is shown there in the Panchakoshas. If the imprints are oriented to the slower frequencies which deal with the secrets of the universe, the deep secrets of nature are available to the individual when he exists in Vijnanamaya Kosha. And when he goes to the Anandamaya Kosha, it is almost a blissful state, a delta range where not much of mental activity or the mind functioning there is less. So he goes to silence and bliss. In that way, the Panchakoshas are related to the orientation of the spinning system. The 4 areas of beta, alpha, theta, delta is having its impact on the Panchakoshas. If they are not that clear, then you may not be able to appreciate these koshas. Am I right, Vijay Lakshmi?
Sir, I'm still thinking what you're saying, sir. As
Yes.
We know, the aura is like a layers.
Yes.
So aura can be related with the koshas.
Yes. Both are same. And,
Yes, in that case, the aura stays with the layers as with the, as you're saying, alpha, beta, theta to their level. So the spinning still will be there in that layer. Each layer has its own spinning.
The aura is also a spinning system where the differentiation of the zones of different colors take place because of the spinning system and the wavelength, differing wavelength of each portion of the aura system. Both are same. Ananda, any comment?
Yes, Ayya, I agree, Ayya. My understanding is almost the same. The aura is mostly with the pranamaya kosha. So, depending upon the aura, we can say the person's prana is of good, strong level and nicely expanded or not. Lot of the measurement devices available, like Keralian photography, they measure predominantly the pranamaya kosha. So indirectly, aura is representation of the koshas.
The Pranamaya Kosha is one among the many spinning systems in the genetic center. And according to the frequency, the prana is also differentiated from the genetic center to the periphery. And to say that prana is not there in the Vijnanamaya or Manomaya may not be right. It is there, but the amount, quantity is less and less. And as it reaches the center, there is a gradient from the periphery to the center. It is a universal, whether it is in the physical body or in the astral body or in the causal body. So also it is present in the pranamaya. The pranamaya is a reflection of the energy and the magnetism that is there. But it is present throughout the entire breadth of the spinning system, ranging from the Anandamaya Gosha to the periphery, where to Annamaya. It is all pervading. Okay. Hello.
Yes, Ayya, we are here.
Right.
Thank you.
Next slide. So this is what I said. The phenomenon of life force genetics and previous one. Previous slide, yes. The phenomenon of life force, it is spinning separately, genetic center. And when you come closer to the central axis, the Atman or the soul represented there. And the static point in the center of the spinning systems is the Jivatma or soul of the individual. The absolute space is the micro presence of the macro almighty. And both are connected because of the connection between the absolute space at the center of the spinning systems and the pole of absolute space makes it possible to the Jivatma have the experience of Paramatma fully, though it is represented in the micro fraction. Both are same, and because of this continuity of the space present in the Atma or the axis of the spinning system, and that is covering the entire space, the Turyatita level. The continuity is there, and so the Jivatma can understand, is able to behave as the Paramatma within the living being. And realization of this fact and the unification of Jivatma and Paramatma becomes possible with the success in the yogic practices, when the Jiva becomes the yogi and jnani and the realized soul. This is in Tamil it is said Ammaya model, which means acquiring the qualities of the Almighty God. So this unification is possible because of the spinning system and the naturally occurring connectivity in this thing. And as a person becomes more and more oriented to divinity, spirituality, the absolute space in the life force particles, energy particles, they all increase to the favor of absolute space, that is a non-moving portion in the life force particle system or in the divine dust particle system is increasing. As the speed decreases, the stationary part increases. The central point expands to touch the periphery. When it becomes 100% non-moving, then it is the black hole there. And every spinning system, every genetic center has a black hole also at the center of it. How do you like the animated spinning system in the slide?
Looking nice, Ayya. Nice representation.
And this has given more insight into the way the spinning system works. And this was given by one of our member from Bangalore, Mrs. Padma. Next slide, please. If anyone wants to explain about the points here, you are welcome. This slide shows the genetic center gets a spinning system of the three bodies, that is physical, life force, and causal body. The spinning system of the three bodies brings the entity of imprints or the karma into existence. And the absolute space at the center of the physical body, astral body, and causal body being the same absolute space, it becomes one. That is, the center portion of the three bodies are one and the same. And through this arrangement, the interchange of energy or the environment in one can be transmitted to the other. And the three bodies, though we talk in terms of three bodies, it is only to make it easy for us to understand. In fact, all the three bodies are in a mixture that is present everywhere. The life force unites as it passes through the cells. They thread the cells to form a garland. So this is what Maharishi has been explaining, that the individual pearls are threaded together to become a garland. And when you consider imprints, they all get detached from the biomagnetic wave. The Xerox copies of the experiences of the biomagnetic wave are forming a separate layer. This gets contracted and imprints are formed. So they are left separated. They get separated from the biomagnetic wave. The biomagnetic wave is a live one. That is, what is biomagnetism? It is absolute space with surcharge, additional energy from the dissolving energy particles or divine dust particles. So essentially it is absolute space, and the energy level only gets surplus more, and this additional energy of the spinning energy of the energy particles or the divine dust particles are added to the absolute space, and that makes it as a magnetism. And this magnetism is proportional to the amount of energy that is added to absolute space. And when the biomagnetism performs any function like traveling within the body from the genetic center to the periphery and back to the body, as it travels, just like the life force, this also binds the whole cellular system, and the whole body is threaded by the biomagnetic wave as well as the life force wave. And because of this nature, the imprints are present in the interface of the spinning system of genetic center. If you see the whole system, the central portion is more and more stationary, potential, and the periphery is more and more dynamic in contrast. And this, if you zoom the area where the stationary portion of the genetic center meets the dynamic portion of the spinning system, then you get a clear interface where you see special waves which are called stationary waves. When you mean wave, it is a moving one. But to add an objective of stationary waves is something different. It is moving, at the same time it is not moving. When you observe with the idea it is moving, then if you think that it is not moving, then the becomes non-moving portion. So this combination of mobility and non-mobility, wave pattern and the particular form of motion picture, these opposites unite to form. The opposites create the two, good and bad, day and night, like that. And when they both unite together, the day and night unites when can anyone tell where the day and night unite, meet each other,
Both
and
in the
become the other?
dawn and the dusk, sir.
Yes, it is beautifully articulated as Sandhya. When the two opposites meet, it is Sandhya Kala. So the morning and the evening, we don't know when it is dark or when the darkness becomes light. It is so gradual. Both are present in equal amounts in the evening. Because of this morning and evening, the entire environment, the atmosphere becomes better. The play of colors in the morning and the evening, the Sandhya Kala, is really a divine exposition. And these are special and parts. And in Sandhya Kala, it is the ritualists, they concentrate on the practices of Sandhya Vandana like that. And it is the time for the prayers and spiritual activity. And these imprints are dropped at the interface, the moving and the non-moving portion, the portion between the moving and non-moving. Here, all the imprints are accumulated, even though the imprints differ from the real particles. The fact that accumulation of particles increases the volume, whereas the shadows, the imprints, the negatives, however much you pile up, they don't build a volume. In spite of that, consider the volume of imprints we have right from the first movement of the space, namely the divine dust particle, to this present day. There is a continuous imprints formation, and all the imprints are situated only in the interface. So even though the ant is such a fragile, small, weightless creature, by constant movement of ants, the solid rocks develop a channel, and ups and downs because of the movement. Like that, these imprints, they form a formidable wall which arrests the absolute entity, the Jivatma, within the spinning system of the life force, within the genetic center. It is arrested. So the body may dissolve.
Can we say even the koshas also imprints?
Yes, koshas imprints are there, but the switch is in the interface. Only when they expand to the particular kosha level. The Annamaya kosha will have the strongest or the coarse imprints coming out to that, reaching that area. Whereas the bliss zone imprints will be confining itself to the center of the spinning system.
So it arrests according to the layers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This separation into layers is vital. And in the anatomy, you feel that into the layers of a junction between two forms of the field, it is easy to dissect. If you are not in the plane of the junctions, then the dissection will become more destructive than separation in anatomy. Okay, so let us move to the next point. The cause and effect system is another important entity in any living being. The divinity, Almighty God, அவனின்றி ஒரு அணுவும் அசையாது. It is not possible to have any movement without the absolute space. And this is how he controls the entire universe. பூஜ்யத்திற்குள்ளே ஒரு ராஜ்யத்தை ஆண்டு கொண்டு புரியாமல் இருப்பவன் தான் இறைவன். So he is standing still, absolutely motionless, but he controls the entire activity of the universe. How? This is because of the cause and effect system. When you have a cause, it has an effect. Sometimes the cause and effect are one follows the other, where the connection is easily understood. In some, it is remote. The cause is separated from the effect by generations. Then we may not be able to understand and we go into confusion. But the cause and effect system helps, is the way through which the Almighty operates, exerts its will in all the atoms of or the fractions of the whole field. Am I clear? Tarunji?
Yes, Ayya.
So, all these understanding of the Jivatma and Paramatma connection and unification all appears to be possible only when you consider the genetic center and not otherwise. So, the divine Jivatma, genetic center, three bodies, Panchabhutas and Sabdatatus are all alchemized to become the expression of a society with its universal existence. Hope it is meaningful, clear.
Yes, Ayya.
Right. Let us move to the next projection slide. So, this brings to the conclusion of the presentation of genetic center and life force. There are so many uncovered, unexplored areas which I leave it to you people to do it individually and enjoy. If you do that, the subject becomes your own. Do we have any questions? Anybody from the audience?
Yes, I have one question that we talked about the Sandhya Kal. We didn't touch
Yes.
the Pratah Kal. Now, difference between both and why do we do prayer or rituals in that particular time?
As I said, the day meets the night and the night meets the day. The darkness becomes brightness. This transition period from one to the other, the Sandhya Kal, the dawn and the dusk, helps to understand the unison between the two fractions, the day and the night, and the darkness and the brightness. And the temperature also distinctly varies. The appearance of the sun and the appearance of the stars all are due to this variation. And this particular aspect of the time, the Sandhya, is a confluence of both. And this availability of a particular fraction the day, 24 hours time, is congenial for the practices, spiritual practices, where you move from one plane to the other plane. When you are existing in the lower chakras, the Mooladhara and Swadhisthana, the impact, the activity, the orientation is to the early level. That is the man, power, love, that is the lust part of it, and the emotional states are all characterized by the lower chakras. In Tamil, we call it the Sagati, the mud, earth mixed with water to make a fluid. And this is not useful for anything. It is not for drinking purpose, or you cannot use that water for any other purpose. And it is a waste. But if you move to the higher chakras, the Agnya and Turiya, there it is pure. The formless energy is there. Here, earth, water elements are there in the lower chakras. The Akash and the absolute space are there in the higher chakras. The energy comes in the higher chakras. The realization comes and divinization happens. And if you are in the bottom, it is a waste. You don't realize anything. It is not useful. If you move to the other extreme, the top of it, then you become more possible to have a divine experience. The transformation from the Jiva to the Parama is possible there. So the practices are oriented to that time to make use of the environment. Is it okay?
Yes, Aya, very good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. Not a question.
Love to have questions.
Okay. So how the mobility and immobility? So in what way that immobility happens?
Please repeat. Mobility and immobility.
In what way or process makes the immobility?
That is the space available for the particles to spin, to move about, to make a movement is available in the outer areas of the spinning system. In the central portion of the spinning system, all the particles gravitate, and when they accumulate in the center, they become closer to each other, and there is very little space available for the particles to move. And this makes the orbit, that is a biomagnetic wave or a life force wave, which starts from the genetic center to the periphery of the body, and from the periphery back to the center. This, it is just like the lower chakras and the higher chakras. In the central area, it is the particles come closer to each other, they almost form a syncytium. Though they are still separate, they form a woven threads are woven to form a cloth. Like that, they are closer. And to cross that area, it is difficult to negotiate. So, both the biomagnetic wave and the life force particles orbit shrinks as it comes to the center. And as it leaves the center, it becomes more and more easy. It acquires more velocity and a spin is possible. So the peripheral portion is an exhibition of power and movement and energy. In the central zone, it is the concentration, compression, and immobilization in the central. So this magic is conducted because of the spinning system. Because of the spin, you have this spectrum of presentation, different presentation. The universe is so much different, variable. It always takes you by surprise because of this complexity of the spinning system. So mobility is more energy, more dynamism. Immobility is conservation, compression. The static nature is more than the dynamic nature. And the energy becomes potential energy. It is not manifested energy. So this is the understanding of mobility and immobility.
Thank you, Nia. All covered.
Right. Any other questions?
Yes, I have two questions. Good morning, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
One simple question. I don't understand clearly why always tell Jivatma is different to Paramatma. Is everything is from the same energy? I think it's like a different level or different understanding or awakening, something like this, but the Jiva always telling Jivatma need to reach Paramatma or need to join to Paramatma or why is different Jivatma and Paramatma? That is one question. What is different? What is considered different Jivatma and Paramatma?
Yes. Your name is?
Julia.
Yeah. See, you were silent so far. Now you are speaking. These two states, can it be compared?
Okay, one, I don't understand the beginning. One is manifested and other no manifested.
Is unmanifested.
Yes,
it is
one is
potential.
unmanifested. Paramatma, no?
Yeah. So anything with more of a static nature, potential nature is becoming divine. Anything that is expressed is becoming the energy is the manifested energy, is the spent energy in a fast moving energy particle, in a life force particle. Life force, it is the expressed, it is dynamic, it is not static. So it is the expressed state. The opposite state is just unexpressed, unmanifested, it is potential and remains changeless, static. All
Okay.
these qualities are attributed to the divinity. So we become more divine when the mobility, the speed, the expenditure of energy becomes less and less. We become more and more static. Beyond a point, we become absolute space.
Oh, okay, understand. More divine, you tell more, but this in this static state, how's the conscience is not conscience because it's suppose every is omniscient, omnipresent. The absolute is divine, no? Is
Yeah. Maharishi defines absolute space as the energy with inexhaustible potential. Vatra irpu. It never gets exhausted. It keeps on coming. However much water you pump out, it never stops. So this energy is, this power is inexhaustible. And it gets replaced then and there. Because of the surplus energy there. In a large ocean, however much water you pump out, the level won't get disturbed. Whereas if you do the same with a smaller this thing in a water tank, if you keep on drawing, the tank becomes empty. So this manifestation is understandable, logical, and it is present whenever there is more static nature. It is conservation, it is more divine. When it is more dynamic, when it is boiling, the water gets empty, exhausted. The transformation from one state to the other is there, and you get all the changes pertaining to that high energy level states. So this is the essential difference between divinity and the
yes, but only the what I don't understand is this divine state, static state, is empty, is blank, or is conscience is there? O sea,
there is no line of demarcation with the static and the dynamic levels. Where they both meet, it is like the day meeting the night, the Sandhya Kala.
Oh, okay.
So the divinity doesn't stop at a particular point.
Okay. Just
So
then,
in a state where, in an environment where we are living, it is fully made up of particles. The particles which are fast moving and slow moving from beta frequency to delta frequency, from 40 to 0. So this is explains the nobility, the greatness of Almighty, and the commonness of the common man.
Okay, understood. Okay, then yes.
A difference between the dynamism and the potential state.
Mhm. But a potential state still is how I
Static state.
Yes, but is full of consciousness.
The consciousness is the basic
Uh-huh.
nature of Almighty, the space.
Oh,
The force is inexhaustible. The consciousness is the intelligence, it is the knowledge, it is the order of function.
Yes.
Never changing, it never goes off.
Oh.
There is an order, there is a pattern of manifestation in everything that is consciousness.
Okay, thank you so much. And then which text you recommend about this for reading, for take more information about this knowledge? Which text?
There is some difficulty in perceiving your question. Please repeat.
Okay. No, only I want to know some texts, some where this knowledge we can find in one text one for reading.
Yes. See, this knowledge is enriching you and making you more fit, potent to live in the present world.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Okay.
This text, if you wanted to get, we are creating the documentation. In future, you may get the either book or documentation for Aya's presentation, what he has given
Yes.
today.
Yes. I would like to have more
It
documentation.
is not exist. Aya is a R&D director. So this is kind of mainly for research and development purpose. So Aya is revealing some of the points which are not in the text already. Yeah.
Yes. Understood. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If there are no questions, you can go to the 2 points which I raised. For today.
So the first
The
point
nature
is,
yes.
first point
Please.
is genetic center is something new which is not there in the classical text. Most of the functions of the genetic center are performed by brain. Then what is the necessity for genetic center?
Is that question clear?
Genetic center is something new which is not there in the classical texts. Most of the functions of genetic center are performed by brain. Then what is the necessity for genetic center?
Tarun, is there a genetic center in the spiritual classical literature?
No, there is no genetic center in any classical literature.
Oh, I was surprised to see that this is totally a new concept which Maharishi brought.
Exactly.
And we have been just going deep into the spinning system of the 3 bodies and the formation of the genetic center. The entire superiority of the living being, the human being, is because of his genetic center. And unfortunately, no reference has been made to genetic center in this thousands and thousands years of existence. They have discussed about everything in the classical spiritual deliberations. They have discussed about the living and the non-living, the divine and the mundane. Everything they have described, they have elaborated. But this aspect, they have brought about the rebirth and all. But they explain the rebirth, but without the genetic center. It is far from complete. So, where from he got this idea of genetic center has been bothering me even today. And Maharishi has repeatedly addressed to us, requesting us to raise doubts and question him when he is alive. He used to say, if you have any question to me, I can answer you, explain you. Even if I don't know what the answer for your question, I can go to a place from where I have taken the related subjects. So it will be easy for me to answer your questions than by somebody else. Unfortunately, we missed him, and we are made to struggle to find out the meaning of its significance of things. Okay, and what is the most of the functions, that is registering, recording, storing, and recalling. All these things are done by the brain, and that is science has dealt with in length. In such situation, what is the necessity for a genetic center when we have a top organ, the brain? Can anyone explain?
Can I explain, Aya?
I would like to hear it. I'll
Thank
be
you.
happy.
Thank you, Aya. Aya, before going to the second question, for the first question, I think my understanding is it is Maharishi's own experience. When somebody odiously practicing the exercises and kaya kalpa with meditative techniques, they will get a kind of a self revelation, which may be like understanding better what they have read already. Sometimes it takes little bit more than what they have read, and they will understand something entirely out of the existing context. So I think Maharishi's concept of genetic center could be his own experience, his own what he felt in his body.
Ananda, what? This he says, revelation. The divinity reveals it to him, and he just reads what is projected by divinity.
So, in my point, the brain is the individual concept, but the imprints are coming from the genetic center. That means it's coming from the generations to generation, which is not applicable for only the brain. So that is the concept made him.
The brain has also evolved from the genetic chain is there. All your experiences are passed on to your progeny without missing it. So this chain of a genetic continuity answers this. It has all the records in this thing. I have the record of the first movement of the space to form a particle. Only the thing is, I am not able to communicate and put my awareness on that point to understand everything, but it is within me, like that in everyone. And we get it.
In order to function, the brain itself is the genetic center needed. Right? Sorry to interrupt.
No. That is, brain functions even before we came to the understanding of genetic center. Only after coming to Swamiji, after going through this knowledge, we have come to know. But it is there and it is functioning. The understanding of genetic center is essential as explained in the next question. What is the necessity for a genetic center is there are number of functions of the genetic center which are not possible to be performed by the brain. Brain is limited, genetic center is unlimited. Then Ananda, you can complete. You dealt with the first part, the second.
Yes, Ayya. So my understanding for the second question is, as you said, brain is limited, but genetic center is present in every cell of a person. Brain, in a materialistic thinking by the scientist, they assume that the brain produces the thoughts, feelings, etc. Brain is just like one of our organ, like the liver or heart or lungs. But genetic center comprises every cell, including the extremities, skin, bones, sabdatadus, everything. Say, for example, if a man is walking in a park and if he hears some hissing noise in the bush, something like that, that creates a kind of, they call it in English, a feeling of fear and like a butterfly flying in the tummy. This is because of the genetic center in that particular chakras and also outside the brain. That is his first feeling. And then he uses the brain to interpret that sensation, understands it as a fear, understands that there may be a threat, and uses the brain to decide to run away, and then he flees. This is one of the very primordial sensation of a man. So brain is just an organ, while the genetic center is the one which runs everything from the head to the toes, and it gives the feeling. It comprises all the five koshas and saptatadus, and I think Maharishi very nicely.
Panchabhutas also.
Panchabhutas, yes sir. Panchabhutas are the one which constitutes the saptatadus and every constituent, everything. So if somebody has to say what makes this, they can just say one sentence, Panchabhutas, rather than explaining it like water, air, etc. So by understanding the genetic center, by focusing on that, we can strengthen it. And as you correctly elaborated, a good strong genetic center will result in good strong life force, since both are interdependent. A good strong life force will result in a healthy body, healthy mind, long disease free life with lot of comfort and a kind of good encouragement to live without any fear about the disease or future or past or future. That is what my understanding is.
Here, the first three transformations of the space. The absolute space becomes energy particle, and the energy particle becomes the magnetism. All the three are connected. One breeds the other. Space breeds the energy particles. Energy particles group together to form life force particles. The life force particles dissolve to become magnetism. When you say magnetism, there is 99% is absolute space. In the absolute space, this energy of the spinning particle merges back to the space. So the space is the major part of the energy particle or divine dust particle. And because of that, man is essentially divine, God. Only by having been hijacked by the sense organs and the karmas and the causes of system, we lose the way. It is the magnetism is God itself. It performs all the activities of God, the magnetism. It holds the stars, the planets together in orderly function of the universe is because of the magnetism and the spinning system. And the divine dust particle or the energy particle is essentially space, which is spinning, that's all. And so you understand the divinity in the first three phenomena of the living system of our universe. The absolute space is eternal, it is God, it can do anything, it can become anything, it can transform anything. All the special gifts of the Siddhas, the miraculous activities of the Siddhas are due to the divinity, realization of the divinity, exhibition of divinity in them, which makes them to reduce their size to a particle, energy particle size, or to magnify to the great Himalayas. It is possible, and they manifest energy in the same way from nothing to the maximum. All these things are the siddhis. It is explained as they can fly in the space without any aircraft. They can appear simultaneously in more than one place. They can disappear from one place and reappear from another place. They can enter into another body. All these things are various siddhis of the Siddhas, the Ashtama siddhis. So they are described. So these things are possible because of the activity of the element of the absolute space in every other manifestation of the space. Namely, the energy particle is the most powerful next to Almighty. And the magnetism is also, it is both the energy particle and the magnetism are in contact with the absolute space. They have not come out of it. And that is the reason for their capabilities. They can perform almost all the functions of divinity. Okay, now moving to the let Ananda complete his.
But sir, please, and this genetic center is possible to improve or modify because
that is the beauty of Maharishi in explaining genetic center. You can purify the genetic center by wrong way of living. You can contaminate the genetic center. You can make the genetic center lose all its capabilities to become useless, to disintegrate, which results in death. So you can do it. He makes he gives you hope that you can become the God by the process of purification, cleaning your genetic center. You can. The genetic center is contaminated not only by the karmas, the imprints, but also the your aptitudes, the emotions, and the outcome of the emotions, the bad temperaments, emotional states, all those things are contaminating this thing. More spiritual practice divinizes it, purifies it, and genetic center, the knowledge given by Swamiji is a great booster for mankind. It gives full hope that you can evolve, and your difficulties are because of your falling back, failing with your proper way of living. The divine way of living helps you to regain all the power to the genetic center.
Okay. And the genetic center are connected one to other or connected with some master genetic center?
In the body, you have millions and millions of countless particles. They forming Panchabhutas, Sabdatadus, everything which you see in the body, within the body, which makes up the body, are due to the combination of this thing. And according to Tattva Bodha, which analyzes the nature of existence, so 95% of our makeup is absolute space. Only 5% of the manifestation of the living beings or the manifested thing in the universe due to 5% only. And essentially we are divine, 95% divine.
Yes. But it's one genetic center for one being and
no, for each spinning system there is a genetic center, one genetic center, by which you understand that each genetic energy particle has one genetic center. And in that way, one atom will have millions of genetic centers. These genetic centers are made up of the same absolute space as the core. And this is all penetrative, indivisible. It is universal, present. There is no place where there is absolute space is not there. So it unites everything and it can express together in unison.
Okay, thank you.
All your spiritual practices are possible because of this nature of the genetic center. When we sit together here and discuss about the genetic center and life force, our genetic centers unite and to understand, to take up the point from one to the other.
Mm-hmm.
There is coherence, resonance, and unison, uniting to manifest as a single entity.
Okay. But it's not one genetic center, master, superior.
It is individually acting, collectively acting, both.
Mm. Okay.
When you are raising this question, the energy particles in your foot may continue to be living in the same way. It performs, it holds your weight, you sit on it and you walk on it. It is all possible. At the same time, the collection of the genetic centers work as your intelligence. That is also possible.
Okay.
So it is the divine miracle, the hand of the divinity in explaining the performance of the genetic centers.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
In an iron, piece of iron, the genetic centers of the particles are in different directions, cancelling the power of one pole against the other, so that the piece of iron remains an ordinary piece of iron. But when it gets polarized, all the north is projected to one side, the south is projected to other side, then the iron becomes a magnet. Similarly, if your individual genetic centers combine together and form in unison with a purpose, they become divine. How do you like it?
Thank you very much.
I am delighted that it gives possibility of progress, moving from the living state with 6 senses to beyond. Okay, now I think it is time. We have another question, that is, what are the functions that cannot be performed by the brain and only the genetic center can do? That question is interesting. We will have it next time. Karan, you sum up and close the function.
It's an interesting conversation that we went, going from how Maharishi coined genetic center and how it influences or how it directs us towards understanding the divine nature and divine existence. And there's also another two things that I always admire Maharishi coining in the biomagnetism and the genetic center, which is not extensively said in any other places. And IS clearly told how these genetic center, along with karma, and influences the Panchabhutas, Panchakoshas, Panchendriyas, and how each one of them is built, how the specific gravity of Panchendriyas were specifically influencing our genetic center and how it works. And I thank Haya for week on week helping us understand this concept.
Karan, an interruption.
Yep.
We have Ravi Prakash, a plasma scientist here. I just, your, yes, sir. Hold a minute. What do you think of the interaction, deliberation?
Yeah, it is very excellent, yeah. So I could hear particularly about the genetic center, a new concept generated by Maharishi. So first time I'm hearing. I was just searching for this one. So mostly Tirumular has touched about Karu, that is the fertilized egg, how it is forming, as a child, how the formation occurs, everything he explains, Tirumular, in his 40 songs. But in only one place, that is, it is related to Mooladhar. So it stays at Mooladhar as the place where Kundalini Shakti is there. So probably Swamiji might have realized that the genetic center is linked with this Kundalini Shakti. So the place where it is kept in. So it was a very good thought line, and you have expressed it very clearly that it is a new concept. Then only I come to know. Many times I crossed this Maharishi's sayings. So it's really thought-provoking, Aya. So we are starting probably a research on this, why it has been located, and what are all the things. Probably we can start with the Tirumular songs and then try to compare it. Thank you, Aya. Thank you for the enlightenment. Yeah, thank you so much.
Rajmohan.
Wonderful presentation.
Ayya, you got muted. Rajamohan Ayya.
Rajmohan, you are able to hear us?
The spinning system is the main concept of the genetic center. You have nicely explained the spinning system from the beginning to the end. The animation also very good, and imprints in the interface, how it transforms to the cause and effect system, karmas and all other things. So totally a new concept by the Maharishi. It is not in the text. Completely new. And when you understand the spinning system, so generally genetic center and physical body, astral body, magnetic body, all these things are we had. But the spinning system is not explained by or not understood by many people. And this one you have clearly explained very nicely with the this complete presentation. No? So this I like very much actually. It gives a more clear understanding to the, all of us. And this, whatever you said, this we have to make a documentation, a proper documentation, because the spinning system and other things, all genetic centers are connected with the cells, atoms, and planets, stars, universe, everything, that concept also we have to explain. And you also explained how brain functions, and genetic center is a special item. The total presentation is very good. Nobody has talked about all these things. So this is my understanding. A very nice presentation. Thank you very much, Doctor. We have to make a good documentation for this one. One of our participants has asked about documentation also.
You are our editor, and you can make better. I always come to you for documentation.
Okay. And this your speech audio is required, so that I can make it as a documentation. You
can take it from Vijay Lakshmi.
Yeah, we can provide.
Okay.
Record.
It's a good understanding, actually, a very good understanding for all of us. Okay, thank you very much, Doctor.
Right.
Aya, with your permission, I just wanted to say one word, Maharishi.
Please.
Yeah, Maharishi has mentioned காந்த நிலை அறியாமல் கடவுள் நிலை அறிவதோ கருமையம் அறியாமல் உயிரை பற்றி அறிவதோ மாந்தர்க்கு அரிது. அந்த ஒரு பாயிண்ட் வந்து in Tamil, without knowing magnetism we cannot know about divine, without knowing genetic center we cannot know about life force. So that's what Maharishi's concept. I have touched on this life force session for genetic center. Thank you so much.
That is what our speaker Sakti Saravanan, who starts with this song of Maharishi. காந்த நிலை அறியாமல் கடவுள் நிலை அறிவது கருமையம் அறியாமல் உயிரை அறிவது. And that 10 or 12 songs about magnetism he has written contains this song. Okay, ma.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், டாக்டர். I had an opportunity to interact with Maharishi. One day I asked Maharishi, someday you are telling so many things, which one we have to make it a very important one? Then Maharishi said, there are 3 things you should understand thoroughly. One is absolute space. The second one is magnetism. And the third one is genetic center. இறைநிலை, காந்தம், கருமையம். All these 3, if you understand thoroughly, the whole subject will be very clear to you. So this was the total essence of the Maharishi's concept. And here the genetic center you explained very nicely, Doctor.
Sir, can we get a copy of the presentation?
Yes, Julia, madam. Yeah, we will add you in the Life Force group so that we can send the details of user ID, password where we are uploading into website. From website, you can get the record.
In the website, we can access the presentation?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, because I was sorry because I came late and then so many, I need to profound more, no? About that. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you provide your cell phone number, mobile number to get the WhatsApp?
Just now?
Yeah, you can provide it in the chat so we can.
Okay. I go.
In time, we'll conclude with the world blessings. Are we good?
Close down.
World blessings.